So we're going to start our writing today about what?
Honey badgers? I mean, red bats.
The red bats. And what are we going to talk about the red bats? We talked about the honey badgers, and remember we wrote together. What did we write together about the honey badger?
That what it eats, that...
Okay, so we're going to be talking about what your red bat eats. Now, here you have your research of what the red bat eats. So the first thing we need to start with is what? What was the first thing we started off with our rating? Do you remember what the first text feature was? Did I start off with a title or did I start off with a heading?
Heading.
Heading. So what's our heading going to be for this rating? What are we writing about?
Red bats.
But what about the red bats?
Oh, what about this? What it eats.
What it eats. So do you remember what the science word we talked about? It's the
Diet.
Diet. So let's make that our heading, and you can copy that down right from your research there. So there's our heading right there. So write down diet.
Diet. Yeah.
Yep, perfect. And then what we do is we're gonna make that into a T. So we make sure we have a cross for the T.
T?
Yeah, and now we're gonna start underneath. Now, we want to start off with a good opener. So what's gonna be your opener that's gonna hook the reader talking about diet?
What does it...
So let's put that into a sentence with a little more detail. It sounds like you want to talk to the reader. So do you want to ask the reader a question? What question do you want to ask the reader?
What does a bat eat?
Do you know what the red bat eats? Okay, so that's perfect. So let's write that down. Do you know what the red bat eats? I like your spacing there, so that makes it a lot easier to read when we have the spaces between our words. No. Now let's. Yep. K first. Okay. So we're gonna take. I'm gonna let you write this, and then I'm gonna come back and give you some more help. Okay. Okay. So now we've got our question to hook the reader. Do you know what the red bat eats? And if I look at here, is the red bat a herbivore, a carnivore, or an omnivore? Looking at your research.
Herbivore.
It's a herbivore.
Omnivore.
So it eats plants and animals. What word did you write right here? It's
Carnivore.
So you could say the red bat is a carnivore and eats insects. Then you can
Moths, butterflies.
and then you can talk about the different insects that it eats.
Do
Okay?
I put it on here, the insects?
Yeah, we're going to use our research to write here. So our sentence is the red bat is a carnivore and eats insects. And then you can say some of the insects it eats are, and then you have moths, beetles, you have flies, all right, you have grasshoppers. Okay?
Good. Grass? Nice.
Okay. So we've made some revisions. We've got diet, we've got our capital at the beginning here. Do you know what a snow leopard eats? It eats meat because it's a carnivore. I like that. It eats deer. Now I'm looking at this, and you're writing, you just put deer, wild sheep, mice. Is there some punctuation we need to add in there to have it make sense? What do we do when we're making those? So where's our comma going to go?
Here.
It goes deer, comma, wild sheep. Well, it doesn't go deer and then wild and then sheep. It goes deer, wild sheep, comma.
Nice.
And because this is the last, we do comma and then we add the word and to say and mice.
That lives.
So and mice. Now, I'm looking at this sentence. What change do we need to make? Great, we see a capital there now. So it stalks its prey to catch it. Now, what I'm wondering is how does it stalk its prey? What does it do?
By using its claws to kill it?
Well, one, it uses its claws to kill, but how does it stalk its prey? If we looked at our research, do you say do you know what stalking its prey means? So maybe that's something we need to research, okay? So why don't you grab one of the iPads and search up what stalking means, okay? And say, or why don't you say this, how does a snow leopard stalk its prey? I think that's a good search to do. So we saw this article, and how does a snow leopard stalk its prey? What does it use?
It camouflages and then it attacks its prey.
That's great. So it camouflages to its surroundings and attacks its prey. So don't you think that would be an important piece of information to add to our rating? All right. So that's great. Let's add that, and then we're pretty close to being done. Okay. So I'm looking at your right here, and you decided for your heading what seahorses eat. Then you put seahorses eat coral and shrimp. Now, if we look at our example we wrote together as a class, do we have a heading? Do we have our opener? Do we have our grade opener yet? Okay, so our first step, we're going to come up with an opener. What do you think an opener might be that will hook your reader? What do you think you could use? Do you remember what example we used today?
Have you ever seen this?
That was what you did for appearance. Have you ever seen it? So you used talking to the reader and asking a question. Do you know? I'm going to ask this question. Do you know is a seahorse a carnivore? Is it a herbivore or is it an omnivore? Do you know what it is? So maybe that's something that we should look up because that might be a question. Because I'm wondering, I don't know if it's a carnivore, a herbivore, or an omnivore. So why don't we, you know the book that you had all your research in? Let's see if we can find out whether it is a carnivore, a herbivore, or an omnivore, okay?
Because I have no idea what else.
So we've got our book, and can you read this to me?
Seahorses eat other animals. They stay still and
Yeah. Okay. So if seahorses eat other animals, what kind of eater are they? Meat eater. And what's our science word for meat eaters? Carnivore. So maybe that's a good question. Did you know that the seahorse was a carnivore? I really didn't think the seahorse was going to be a carnivore. I thought it was going to be a herbivore, and I thought it might eat like algae or certain plants in the sea. So I learned something new there. So maybe that's our opener. Did you know that the seahorse was a carnivore? And then you have what it eats. It eats coral and it eats shrimp. Now, here's an interesting fact here. That seahorses suck up the food through their snout. So it's kind of like a straw, isn't it?
I learned that from the sea.
You learned it from the seahorse movie. So I think that's what we're going to add to our writing. All right, we've got our opener, and then so you can tell me that it's a carnivore that eats meat, and then you can tell me how it eats, okay? So let's put a little post-it note on this page so we know that this page has the important information to help us, okay? Okay, so I'm looking at your writing here, and we've got our headings. We've got diet. Do you know what's a lion's diet? It eats zebra, elephant, giraffe. They are is that predator?
A carnivore.
They are a carnivore. So I'm wondering, some readers might not know what a carnivore means. Could you explain what it means?
It's something that eats meat.
So they are a carnivore and eat only meat. And they hunt their prey, but how do they hunt their prey? Do they take out like bows and arrows and go hunting?
Bows and arrows!
What do they do?
They go run after them. They jump on top of them, and then that's what they eat.
Okay, so they jump to attack the prey. Now, I'm wondering, does the lion use any special thing while it's hunting?
It's claws.
Well, it's claws, but is it just out in the open, or does it hide, or what does it do?
It hides.
What does it use to help it hide? Do you remember?
Oh, how about camouflage? The tall grasses.
Does it hide in the tall grasses as camouflage?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's some information that we can add. So they are carnivores, so we can erase that they hunt their prey, and we'll say they are carnivore, meaning they eat meat. Then you can say they hunt their prey by what? By hiding in the
tall grasses.
and then attacking their prey
Yeah.
by jumping on it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think there's our next step to add that information, okay? Do you want me to write it on a post-it note for you, or do you think you can remember it?
I want to put it in a post-it note.
Okay, we'll put it on a post-it note. All right, so I'm looking at your writing here. You've got diet. Do you know what a king cobra eats? What did you ask me there?
A question?
How do I know that? If I look at your punctuation, what do we need to put there?
Yes.
Okay. They are carnivores, which means they are meat eaters. They eat birds, fish, toads, and lizards. They hunt their prey by smelling and then killing it with venom. Now, I'm just wondering one thing. I'm thinking if it's eating say, some bigger animals, does it do anything special to help it eat? What does it do?
It stretches its body.
Okay.
It's elastic, so the king cobra is elastic, so it can swallow bigger animals.
Okay, I think that's what we should add too for diet, okay?